Good morning, Year 2. How are you? I hope you're ready for another week's worth of learning. This is the final week's worth of math that you will have with myself. And this week I'm going to finish off the unit on weights, volume and measures. First of all though, let's take a look at the flashback 4. So here is your flashback 4. Pause the video now and give it a go. So of course, I hope you realise that the banana weighed 30 grams. If the programme started at 9:30 and it lasted for 10 minutes, it would end at 20 to 10. The time shown on the clock is 5 minutes to 12, and half of 30 is 15. So today we're going to be having a look at exploring millilitres. This is something that you may not have come across before. But the things that I want you to consider while you're solving this problem are, what can you see in the picture? What do the children need to do? Can you figure out what millilitres or the ml might mean? What does it stand for? Could it possibly be a unit of measurement? How could you measure out 10 millilitres of vinegar? How about 100 millilitres? Pause the video now and give it a go. So today we're learning how to measure volume in millilitres. So the first thing that you're going to need to be successful is to know what a volume is. Volume is an amount of liquid. So when we measured in grams, we were measuring something that was solid, like maybe flour or the banana in the flashback 4. Volume measures the amount of a liquid. You'll also understand that a milliliter is a unit of measurement. It tells you how much of that liquid you have. And you'll also begin to explore to know when to use litres and when to use millilitres. So the things that I want you to think about while we're going through the share are, how could you accurately measure different volumes of vinegar? How many teaspoons would you need to make 10 millilitres? And how do you know? What numbers could you count in to help you? Could you use anything to help you repeat the counting? And how many teaspoons would 100 millilitres be? Do you think there might be a better way to measure 100 millilitres? So Felix here is saying that the ml, of course, stands for millilitres. Now, 1 teaspoon holds 5 millilitres of liquid. So if you pour water onto a teaspoon until it's full, that will be 5 millilitres of liquid. Dexter's saying that actually he can use his knowledge of multiples of 5 to help him measure out the different amounts of vinegar. So you can measure out 5 millilitres for 1 teaspoon, 10 millilitres for 2 teaspoons, 3 millilitres for 3 teaspoons for 15 millilitres, and 4 teaspoons for 20 millilitres. Now you could have a go at doing this at home, pouring it into a cup, seeing how much liquid that actually is, seeing what 5 millilitres or 10 millilitres or 15 millilitres looks like. Now, Flo is saying, well, actually, do you know what? 100 millilitres would be a lot of teaspoons. Now, I can use my knowledge here. If I know that 4 teaspoons is for 20, 20 times 5 is 100. So therefore, 4 times 5 would be 20. I'd need 20 teaspoons to get 100 millilitres of vinegar. So you could, for example, like Tariq and Anya, use a measuring jug. Now, again, some of you might have these at home for things like when you're baking. Or you might have measuring cups, the little silver things of different sizes. We have some of those, and you can measure out different volumes. Now, in order to answer B, Dexter is saying that he's going to use a number line to count in 5s. Flo is saying, however, well, I can just use my multiplications. I know my fact families. So I can divide 30 by 5 to get 6. Both ways get the same answer. You just need to use the method that is most efficient and accurate for yourself. Here's your think together. So write the volume of vinegar in each jug in millilitres. Now, for example, here, if the volume was up to here, so if this line, instead of being there, was up to there, then how I would answer this question is I'd look at the scale here. And I know that that jumps from 0 to 50, and that jumps from 50 to 100. So what I would do is start counting in the scales. Now, it's unlikely to be in jumps of 1 or in jumps of 2. There aren't enough jumps there to get from 0 to 50. It might be in jumps of 5, so let's try that. So 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. No, I've only got halfway to the number that I need. So therefore, the other set of jump that it could be is in tens. Let's try that one. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's correct. So now I know that we're jumping in tens, I can figure out what this one is. Now I don't need to start at 0 this time. I can start at 50 because I know that I'm counting in tens. So 50, 60, 70, 80. That would be 80 ml or 80 millilitres. Could you have a go at figuring out what that level is? And therefore what that level is? Pause the video now and give it a go. And here's your next set of questions. So Anya used teaspoons to put vinegar into these jugs. And it says, how many millilitres of vinegar did Anya put into the jugs altogether? Now remember, that word altogether means, yes, add. Well done. And there's a number line there to help you if you need it. Now, finally, the challenge question, what volume of vinegar is in the jug? So Flo is saying the level is halfway between 40 and 50 millilitres. So I wonder what number is halfway between 40 and 50. Again, you might like to use a number line to help you. And here are your answers. Now it's time to move on to your practice books. Now, the most crucial bit about this is, even if you're not struggling, this is something that you may not have come across before. And it's really crucial that you have a go at playing about. Maybe when you're having a bath or a shower or a wash, have some jugs in your bath with some teaspoons, some tablespoons, and explore measuring different amounts, combining different amounts, seeing what they look like and feeling what they look like. This will truly enable you to fully grasp the concept of millilitres and measuring volume. Pause the video now and move on to your practice book. As always, the answers will be at the end of this video. Now, true or false? There is 60 millilitres of juice in this container. And of course it's true. You can see that the markings are going up in 20s, and the ones that are unmarked here must be the even numbers in between. And the ones that are unmarked must be in the middle of 10 and 30, so 20, 40, and conversely 60. And here are your answers. I hope you've enjoyed learning about millilitres. It's really crucial for when you grow up that you're able to understand what this means and be able to measure and read the scales accurately. This will come in really useful whether you're making a cake or a stew and adding liquids like milk or cream or gravy. Whether you're making a special drink, my daughter loves a drink called Apple Twilight, which is a mixture of apple juice and blackcurrant juice. However, if I got the combinations wrong, it might taste disgusting and she would not be very happy. But also, as you grow older, you might wish to become a scientist or an astronaut or a mechanic. You might need to know how much oil you need to add to a car. It may be that you need to measure out the exact amount of an element in your experiments. And if you put it into the wrong volume of liquid, it could go catastrophically wrong. It may be that you want to become a photographer and you need to know how to process photos and use the right amount of liquid to do that. The possibilities are endless. So it's really important that you practice it practically and get used to measuring and reading the scales. Tomorrow, we're going to have a further look at using millilitres to measure volume. So for now, have a good day. Enjoy getting messy with your jugs and your water. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye.